Welcome back, everybody. This is the Vegans Who Live podcast brought to you by Vegans Explore with your favorite vegans. We got Brooke Sellers, aka Miss Meatless Muscle, and myself, John Thomas, aka the Bodybuilding Vegan. And today we're bringing you some love, a lot of love from ourselves, the loves that we've been through. We're going to be talking about relationships, abuse, dating, as a vegan and just kind of in general. So there should be a lot of really good information here. And if you guys want to know some juicy details, stay tuned. Are we gonna we do have to do our wins of the week though? I didn't even
Yes, we
think about
do.
that.
In our
This
game.
and our game. Oh man, this week has flown by. You can go first while I try and think of mine.
All right, so I kind of have like a 2-in-1. I'm gonna say, kind of kill two carnists with one stone because we don't want to kill the birds.
We're gonna get canceled.
Just kidding. Just kidding. I love everybody. Anyways, but
Free
so
vegans.
yes, a big win for me was I've been feeling a little like thick in my off season, not in a good way either. I just, you know how it is. Like you get stage ready and being in the best shape of your life just kind of messes with your head a little bit. So, I mean, I probably look better than I think I look, but I haven't felt like taking content and I kind of pushed myself yesterday, pushed myself out of my comfort zone to take some content. So I met up with this girl who is a videographer here. We took some content in this cool new gym. And then that was the other win, was that I found this awesome gym that's only like 25 minutes from me. And it has such cool equipment that I really missed from like my old bodybuilding gym, but the atmosphere was just terrible and there was so much drama. I know John knows all the details here, but this gym, they have like a pendulum squat, like the really cool like standing abduction machine. They have this super cool standing leg curl. Like I know you have all of this at MI40, but like the gym I have been going to, I love it, but a lot of their machines are kind of like old people machines, if you get what I'm saying. Like it's kind of like hotel Jimmy kind of machines. It's those like I think it's like Life Strength or something, that brand. And this gym has like all of the Paramount machines, all of the Matrix machines, really, really cool. So that was exciting. And I was just also really proud of myself for just being like, fuck it. Like I'm gonna be myself. I'm gonna embrace where I'm at, all my phases. Like people need to know what it's like going through all the phases. Like you're not always stage lean, you're not always gonna look your best, you're not always going to look ripped and shredded, and that's okay. It doesn't mean you're strong, it doesn't mean you're not healthy, it doesn't mean like you're any less or you're losing progress. So I was really proud of myself for that.
Oh, good for you, dude.
Yeah.
That's huge. I mean, it's easy when you're in prep or showing off your absolute best to be like, oh yeah, I like how I look, or I appreciate myself for doing all this work. But for you to be able to kind of slow things down, even when it's not exactly, I know where you want to be long term, but be proud of
Yeah.
yourself for where you're at, and then find that new environment. I'm surprised you found a gym that close to you that you hadn't heard of before, because you've been in the same spot for a while, right?
Yeah, me too. And it's apparently been there forever. So I'm just surprised I didn't hear about it. But yeah, she wanted to meet up and take content. My gym is packed like all the time. And there's always people like setting up tripods and stuff. So I just felt like there's no way we could get good shots at my gym. And the lighting's terrible too. So I just happened to find this gym from a Google search, and a friend of mine happened to live in the area and she went there and she said it was awesome. So I was like, all right, I'm willing to try it. Let's see how it is. And it was awesome. It was such a cool gym. Lots of like, it has these like huge windows and it's got all this natural lighting. So super cool. So I'm like super excited. You know how you get a new gym membership and then you're just so excited to train again? You're like, oh my God, I can't wait to try out all these new machines. And it's just like a kid in a candy store. And now I'm like, oh my God, why did it have to be a rest day today? I want to go hit legs. So yeah,
Oh,
it's super exciting. So yeah, I'm excited to see how the content turns out. And I'm just either way, even if I'm not loving it, like loving how I look at it, I'm still just like proud of myself for being like, I'm gonna follow through with this. I'm gonna do this. I may not be where I want to be, but I still need to love myself and not be so hard on myself.
100%. Um, wow. This is me. I'm trying to take notes. I'm trying to like multitask and I'm just completely failing. All right. Back to the podcast. Back to the important stuff. I kind of have a gym cycle. Like I'll go to my hardcore training gym 3 or 4 days in a row. And then when I feel like switching it up, I'll just go to crunch. And like, I don't know why I go to crunch. Well, I do. One, I'm usually the biggest guy there, which is a little bit nice.
Oh yeah, I'm
But
sure.
also, I don't know people as much there, so I can kind of blend in.
Yeah.
Last night, I guess it was like superhero day. I met this guy named Spider Kiss. I turn over. I'm doing rear delts. I look on there and I see a guy on the elliptical playing a guitar, like a Guitar Hero guitar, and I'm like, the fuck. And then I look and he's got white and black face paint. He looks like a member of Kiss, like the band. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I gotta talk to this guy. Like, there's gotta be a reason for this. He didn't just show up like this with face paint. His teeth were dyed red. I'm like, what's up, dude? He's like, hey. And I'm just like, um, I gotta ask, man. I love that you're putting yourself out there. There's gotta be a reason for this. He's like, oh, it's superhero day. And I found out on Instagram it was his birthday. And he's like, I'm the only person that dressed up. I'm like, yeah, you're at a
So
crunch.
funny.
And he's like, well, I'm Spider Kiss. And then I look and he's got like a little Spider-Man logo, but he looks like Kiss, like the band, like with the tongue and everything. So then I asked him to take a selfie and I noticed he does like the little Spider-Man, like spider web thing with his hand. I was like, that's why I go to Crunch. That shit ain't gonna happen at my gym.
Yeah,
Like,
I know I saw your story and that was hilarious, but I noticed that because I do have crunch too, which I may or may not keep now that I'm going to this new gym. But I'm like you, I like to cycle gyms. Just it's like you said, like sometimes you just need a change of scenery, and some gyms it's like, okay, that's leg extension is better than their leg extension, and you know how it is. So, and they do the same thing. They'll have these like theme days, and people will show up in like crazy 80s outfits, or like they had like a, I don't know, like a western day and everybody was like wearing cowboy hats and stuff, and I'm just like, it feels like I don't know if you had those weeks when you were in school where it was like tacky
oh,
Tuesday.
yeah. Man, it's been a while since I've been in school. I'm getting old. It's been
Yeah, well, same, yeah, I mean, they had like it was tacky Tuesday, and I'm trying to remember the other ones. It was like mismatched Monday, or I don't even remember, but you would come like dressed up as like all this weird stuff, and it was so fun.
Yeah. I never did. I was so self-conscious. There was no way I was showing up in a costume. I would do it now. Now that I'm yeah, now I get arrested. Like bodybuilding vegan found at local middle school dressing up as the Hulk.
Seriously,
Oh
yeah, I was
boy.
the weird kid. I was a very weird kid. I was totally myself, so I lived that one up for sure. I took full advantage to be as weird as I could be that week.
I'm glad you never changed, and I'm glad I've crossed over to the weird side with my old age. So for my wins of the week, I like how I just said wins, like as if I'm gonna have more than one. I'm actually gonna keep it to one this week, and it's actually I'm trying to challenge myself whenever I can. And so I felt almost a little self-conscious saying this one, or maybe a little self-important. And I was like, I feel a little uncomfortable saying it. So that tells me I should just do it. I got to work an event with Sean and Royce and Alex. So Sean from Vegans Explore, obviously. Royce is also with Vegans Explore. Alex Yabonks with Karma Farm Sanctuary. We raised almost $1,000 for One to Save Many, which is going to donate all that to animal charities. And so that was really cool. That was awesome. That was part of the win. But really, the win is being around those people and working on those relationships, and then also seeing where I want to be in life. I've made this a very roundabout story. Basically, where my mindset is now, that's my win, is my mindset. I used to think, like, make it an analogy. I'll make it football because that'll work for more people. I know this is bodybuilding, vegans who lift, but we'll pretend it's football. In an ideal world, in my previous mindset, I would want to be like Tom Brady, or I don't even really watch football. So whoever a great football star is, like whoever wins the Super Bowl, that's what I'd want to be, that player. And now I'm starting to think, why be the player? Why not buy all the teams, buy all the real estate, buy all the stadiums, buy ESPN? Instead of playing in the game, let's own. the game. And that's where I'm at with my mindset right now. I want to own the game, not just be a player in the game. Because once you own the game, well, if I was the NFL head of whatever, I'd probably make bigger helmets or something so that people don't get their heads busted in. But with the
Yes.
world, the more I can own of the world game, the more I can push out this message of kindness, compassion, veganism. If I had the type of money that Elon Musk had, I wouldn't be trying to put us on the moon. I'd be trying to get rid of factory farming here at home. So mindset, that's my win. I'm stepping into things that scared me before, but I told Sean, I was like, you know what? I've come pretty far from where I thought I could. There's not been a single thing that I've never been able to figure out thus far. So I don't know why this would be the first. So that's where my mind's at. Global
Yeah, I love
dominance.
it. That's a big shift for sure. I think, and we talked about this on our last episode with Danny about, people wanting to be the best, right? Like, I want to be the best vegan bodybuilder, and the truth is it's not always realistic for everybody. And other than that, will that really be what creates the biggest impact? Will that be really what gives you purpose as being the best? um there's so many questions around that, like, will you be totally satisfied if you get there? That's something that a lot of people, I don't think, really think about, and they achieve a goal and then it's just kind of like, well, what's next? So I feel like that's a really good perspective to have. And just thinking about what is the best way that you can create impact and that you can be happy with yourself when you're gone, and make the most of your time here.
Yeah. That got heavy. We're supposed to be
It
talking about
did.
love and relationships and dating
It's probably
advice.
gonna get a little heavy today, though.
It's gonna y'all strap yourselves in. This is gonna be
Yeah.
fun.
Buckle up, buttercups. We might
That's
we might need a little trigger warning too. There we might get into some triggering
uh,
stuff today. We'll see.
yeah, if you're an asshole and you abuse women, you might, or a woman that abuses men, you might be
Yeah.
triggered by this episode. Oh, good lord. Should we do our game?
Yes, let's do it. I'm excited to do it. I don't know if we've had a chance to do it just me and you yet, have we?
I don't think so. It's the first time.
Okay. Here we
And
go.
you
We
wrote the
got our
question, so I have literally no idea what's going to be coming out of there.
shaker cup questions. Let's see. Okay. Oh, okay. This one's just kind of like a light, fun one. If you had to live off only one fruit and one vegetable, what would they be?
See, now my brain goes, are we trying to be as healthy as possible or like we trying to enjoy ourselves?
Either
Hmm.
or.
Hmm. Well, if I'm in a survival scenario, I might pick watermelon because there's a lot of water in the melon, and then that could hydrate me. Um,
That's
but
a
I don't
kind of
know if
tough one.
I don't know if I love watermelons that much to eat them until I die.
I definitely don't.
I did raw vegan for a little bit, for like a
Did
couple
you
months.
really?
Yeah, yeah. I was I guess I was weird at 17. I was going to this little like it wasn't even like a Publix, it was like a little health food store. And I would buy 100 bananas and that'd last me 3 days. My dad bought me a Tupperware
Damn.
container, or not a Tupperware container, like a storage bin for my bananas because they were all over the place. And I'd be sitting down eating 6 to 8 at a time. Like I remember
Oh
one day
my gosh.
I was working at Publix and I'd go to have my lunch break. I'd sit in my car, I'd roll down the window, I'd just eat a banana, throw the peel out into the grass. Eat a banana, throw the peel out. It's like somebody's probably walking by, like, the fuck is this dude eating? Like there's 8 banana peels on the ground. Yeah. I could do bananas. Actually, that probably would be it because they're not super hard to chew. They taste good. Yeah, bananas. That would be my fruit.
That's a good one. That's a really good one. I can't believe you were raw vegan. I didn't know that about you. Or at least
Oh,
for a few months.
yeah, a few months. I told the world that that was going to be it. I was going to be the healthiest person in the world, raw vegan. I don't think I could eat enough. Like I logged back before I had a phone. I logged my food journal. I was getting like 5,000 calories a day. Like no joke. Like 40 bananas, 20 oranges, handfuls of nuts and seeds. Maybe like I did have raw okra one day. Like tomatoes. and like a raw protein powder and some raw protein bars. But like I was tracking the calories. I was getting like 5,000 calories a day. But like after that month, I
Wow.
went from 170 pounds to 165. I'm like, all right, well, I'm trying to gain weight. This ain't working. So we're going to eat regular food. Back to being just vegan, not the raw bodybuilding vegan. I don't know. I saw some YouTube video about this guy that was like all raw vegan, and he was clearly now on juice, jacked motherfucker. But he's like, yeah, I just eat raw vegan. I was like, damn, that's what I'm doing. And that's about like, I can say I have some experience in this sport because I've done some stupid shit trying to copy other people. Um, I've done the guesswork for you guys. But okay, bananas is my fruit. Do you know your fruit?
I think my fruit, I would probably choose apples because there's just so many. You know, like there's
Mm,
like the opal apples and like regular red delicious and then Granny Smith, like you could get some diversity there and you could make applesauce so you could like, do a couple different things with it.
okay. I feel like she's finding the loopholes. Cool. All right. Yeah, that works. Um, yeah.
Veggie. I don't it's like it's hard. I don't really love I'm not I mean, it sucks. I'm a vegan and I'm a healthy vegan, but I don't love veggies like that, honestly. It's just it is what it is.
You just need to do another prep. You'll love veggies after that. That's what
True.
happened to me. Ooh, well now I'm starting to think like I was thinking like well actually isn't a tomato a fruit? So no tomatoes. Okay, so like
Tomatoes a
I don't know.
fruit. Yeah.
Like I'm not gonna pick spinach or green beans.
No. Mm-mm.
I'm thinking do potatoes count as
I
vegetables?
was thinking that too. I wonder if I feel like a potato is technically a vegetable. Maybe Sean
Yeah.
can help us out.
Oh, wait, are they a tuber? Man, we should know
Hmm.
this.
Because a
Like a
potato there's so much shit you could do with potatoes. So if a potato is technically
yeah.
a vegetable,
Oh yeah.
that's what I'm going with. Yes, it is.
John
Sean
says
confirmed.
it. Okay, regular potato or sweet potato?
Mm, tough one. I feel like I might get sick of a sweet potato before I
Yeah.
got sick of a regular potato.
This is a tough question. Man, oh well, there we go. I got it. I figured it out. We do the vegetable is gonna be the potato, and the fruit is gonna be the tomato. Now I can have French fries with ketchup.
And you can have pizza. You could do like a potato. You could I did this. Actually, you remember that medical medium cleanse I was telling you about that like
Mhm.
hocus pocus shit. So one of the recipes though was you steamed some potatoes and then you basically mashed them and you made them
Mhm.
into these little cakes and then you took tomato paste and put it on top and then you could put mushrooms and like basil and stuff and baked it and it like was like a little pizza. So
A
you could
gluten-free, good tasting pizza. There we go.
healthy low calorie pizza, yeah. And it was surprisingly good. My expectations were very low, but I was like, man, I could eat this every day if I could figure out how to add some protein to this. Like this
Some
would be really good.
some nooch with some of the
Some
Beyond
nooch? Yeah.
pepperoni.
And maybe you could even do, like, unflavored pea protein
Oh
in
yeah.
the mashed potato. I don't know, I'd have to try it. Now I'm getting thinking here, I might need to make a little recipe.
Guys, stay tuned. We'll be back in a few hours. We're gonna go perfect this gluten-free potato pizza. I like how we get two items and it's supposed to be like pick an apple and go pick green beans. That's it. That's all you get. And we're like, nah, we're gaming this. We're gonna find a way to win
We're
this.
gonna hack it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think for health and for yeah, but it would have to be potatoes. I mean, any other like if you got to live off of vegetables, you're gonna have way too much fiber. Yeah,
Yeah.
regular potatoes. There we go. Too much fiber with sweet potatoes. I wouldn't be able to
Yep.
grow.
Yeah, it
Now I
bloats a lot of
almost,
people.
if I wasn't serious about bodybuilding, I would try this diet for like 2 weeks and just see what happened. See how sick I get of potatoes.
You know,
Y'all want me to do
honestly,
this?
I really honestly I enjoyed the medical medium cleanse while it was still food. The last day is like all liquids and then I think the 2 days before that it's like raw. But like the first few days, like the first 3 days you could cook your veggies, you could cook your potatoes. Like the only shitty part about it was that you couldn't have salt. And like if I'm going to have a potato, I really want salt with it. So like it but it was I felt so good. Like my digestion was good. Like I mean, it was a really good experience up until the end, but I really liked eating that way. It would be hard for me to give up all the muscle I've worked so hard for and just let that atrophy by not getting enough protein. But then sometimes I'm also like, do we really need that much protein? It would be a cool experiment. I don't know.
I almost want to try it because I try to help on Reddit. If y'all go on Reddit, I'm on Reddit. I'm on vegan fitness. And they're always like, the studies say you don't need any more than 0.8 grams per kilogram of protein. And like, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, but all of you guys are like 130 pounds.
Yep.
Maybe if you were trying to grow, you'd get a little more protein. And I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, I'm already so much of an outcast in the bodybuilding world. I don't want to make myself an outcast in the vegan bodybuilding world. So sometimes I just watch and shake my head and close the tab. I'm like, I'm not going to save this person today. I don't know. I guess it's like, are you trying to be a bodybuilder or are you just trying to be fit? Because yeah, if you're just trying to be fit, don't even worry about it. Like, just eat some healthy food. You'll be fine. But if you're trying to be jacked and swole and as big as humanly possible, eat your damn protein. But
Yep.
all right. So now you guys got your nutritional tidbit. Now we can talk about dating and everything. Let's before we jump in, let's hit our current status because I'm sure people are curious. And I know that you don't post quite as much. I'm a little bit of an open book. If you follow me, I put out everything, whether or not it's good or bad. I've made some people uncomfortable at times, but I'll start. How about that?
Yeah.
I am currently exclusive. We have not put a label on it yet.
Yay!
So ladies, men, in
A bunch of
between, everybody.
hearts just broke out there.
Yeah,
Damn it.
but anything can happen by the time this podcast is out. You never know. But no, no, this seems special, and I will get into this later. But currently, I'm seeing somebody. I only do the one person at a time thing. I have at one point been talking to like 4 people at once, but I hadn't met with any of them. And it's like that was hell. Like trying to keep up with 4 people. Like one's telling me about their dog, one's telling me about the beach. I'm like, then I'm getting them confused and mistaken, and they're like, "Who are you talking about?" And I'm like, "Oh Lord." So yeah, I'm kind of like a one person guy. That's me. Anyways, all right, I'm gonna shut up. Brooke, are you on the market or are you off the market? Where are you at?
Yeah, I'm off the market. I've been dating my boyfriend now for a little over a year. He does not have Instagram or any social media, which I honestly really enjoy, but yeah, so I don't really tag him or post him, and I mean, I'll get into this a little bit later, but I feel like I have a little bit of PTSD from Instagram relationships. Um which we can
Okay.
get into later, but yeah, he's really special, and we're moving into our place together this weekend and taking my dog with me, and so yeah, it's going good.
That's a huge win. That's a huge win right there. I
Huge win.
and congrats
My
on you.
first ever healthy relationship. I have been in toxic relationships my entire dating life, and this is the first one. Like, of course we have issues, but it's not toxic, like, where there's manipulation going on, there's cheating going on, there's all this just absolutely just harmful behavior. So yeah, it's like my first real mature relationship, I would say.
Hell yeah, more healthy relationships. Y'all will hear me say like breakups are wonderful because most of y'all need to get out of the spot you're in. You're in an unhealthy relationship, an
Yeah.
unequal relationship, um, or it just didn't work out, and that's okay too. That gives you a chance to work on yourself, a chance to. I mean, you should always work on yourself, but a chance to move forward and find maybe either another person that you're more aligned with, or just find yourself. So, all right, just going off the show notes, would you date someone? Would you go on a date with someone that eats meat, or what about even a vegetarian? I want to do this separately. Would you go on a date with somebody that eats meat?
Absolutely. Yeah.
But Brooke, you're a vegan.
Well, so here's my take on it, and it's interesting. So for a long time, I say a long time, but I guess when I first went vegan, I was like, oh yeah, I'm only gonna date guys who are vegan. And then after a while, I had a therapist. She's like, Brooke, you're gonna have to lower your standards a little bit. That's kind of impossible. And I'm glad I did, because my boyfriend now, he was an omnivore when we met. Now granted, he's a doctor, so he eats really healthy. He eats really clean. He wasn't eating like pork or eggs or anything like that, but he did eat like really lean grass-fed beef. He ate fish, he ate chicken. Um, but he is a hardcore vegan now because of me, and he has made a huge impact in his practice and is always telling people to go vegan and being like, "Look, your cholesterol's through the roof. You need to go plant-based." I mean, he has changed so many people's lives. And now it just gave me this perspective like if I had not been open to dating someone who just had a different ideology than me, then that never would have happened. I will say this though, I do think it would be really hard to live with a person who ate meat,
Mhm.
and after having someone like traveling with someone who is vegan and they're just as excited about the vegan pizza as I am. Like I've dated guys who, like I have to pull and twist their arm for them to go to a vegan spot with me, and it kind of takes the fun out of it, because you're so excited, but you feel like they're kind of compromising. I feel like now I would be settling if I didn't have someone who was just as excited about my lifestyle as I am. But I am lucky now that he's on the side and he's vegan now. But yeah, so it's like I would date someone who ate meat, but I guess with the intention that hopefully I could convert them or have them a little bit just more open-minded to my lifestyle and hopefully get them excited about it, because it's just traveling is so much more fun when you're vegan. Like when we went to Sarasota, and we went to all these cool vegan places, I mean, we would just leave just talking about how awesome the food was and like how incredible it was and how we didn't have anything like that back home. And we were just looking up all these vegan spots and like trying different places. And it's just so much more fun.
Yeah. For me, less concerned about the fun. Um,
Yeah.
would I date a non-vegan? Yep. Yep, I would. Would I marry a non-vegan? I got engaged to one. That was a whole nother story. We'll get into that later. But I don't well, actually, after seeing some recent divorces, I'm never getting married. I will if we want to go commit our lives to each other, we want to have a ceremony, that's fine. But legally, my shit's mine. My business is mine. Yours is yours. We can find a way to like cohabitate or whatever. But I have seen some things lately that just I'm shaking my head. I am not getting married. But doesn't mean like, and you know what? People be like, oh, well, if you won't get married, like, then, you could cheat on your wife or your wife could cheat on you. And I'm like, people get married and cheat on their significant others all the damn time, anyways. You think marriage changes that? Come on now.
Right.
Anyways, I'm going to get off my soapbox. I'm similar to you. I actually, dang, Reddit needs to sponsor this podcast. I was on Reddit last night and this girl's like, hey, this guy asked me out. How do I tell him I can't go out with him because I'm vegan and he's not? And I'm just like, honey, you tell him you're vegan, that if y'all are going out, you're going to a vegan ice cream place. Like, see if he'll even do that. If he's like, ew, no, then okay, you got your answer. But like, what if
Yep.
he's super open-minded? Like you had your shot to change somebody's life. Why not? So actually, I'll put it this way. Two of my exes I keep up with, sort of, loosely. Not even really. Well, one of them, yes, one of them, no. Laura, she was not vegan when I met her. She became vegan 4 days after dating me. I didn't ask her to become vegan, and to the best of my knowledge, we don't talk anymore. She's still vegan, and that's a big difference. That's a whole lifetime right there. And then Elisha, it took her a lot longer. It took her living with me for like 6 months to finally kind of get it and have those wheels turn. And to the best of my knowledge, we still talk. She's still vegan, and it's like that's really big. Like they're still out there changing the world and in huge ways. Cause even if you just buy vegan products, you're encouraging the supply and demand of vegan products. Currently, with the person I'm dating, actually, our first message, I said something cute and she replied like, LOL. Oh, I see you're vegan. I'm looking to learn how to cook more vegan foods. I'm like, well, shit, you now stand out of the crowd, young lady. Um, and so we hung out and we went on a walk and it's a little bit different because she already knew I was vegan, but I told her, because she made a statement like, I don't remember what the statement was, but I just told her, I was like, you're vegan in your heart. You're just not vegan in your actions yet. And she's like, what do you mean? I said, if Saturday when we went on our walk, if I had said, if I wasn't vegan, do you want to come over and get burgers? Would you have said yes to me? Would you have gone on a date to go get burgers with me? And she said, yeah, I would have. And I said, okay, so when you got to my house on Saturday, when we go out to my backyard and I go say, hey, Annabelle, and I bring Annabelle, the cow, out from the shed, and I hand you a knife and I say, you're going to slit Annabelle's throat. We're going to peel her skin off. We're going to chop up her meat and we're going to cook it and we're going to have great hamburgers, freshest you've ever had. You still down? And she said, I could not do that. I couldn't. And I very kind of bluntly said, then why do you pay other people to do it for you? Sometimes I'm a little aggressive. That was me being a little aggressive. And I said, look, you're clearly vegan in your heart. You're just not there yet with your actions. And as of now, she's vegan. So I didn't pressure her. I didn't say you have to do this to date me or anything like that, because I don't want to force anybody on their journey, but I do want to do what I can to open their eyes. And so dating's a great form of outreach. I'm not trying to go date every non-vegan woman in the world and turn them vegan, but if I date you and I feel like you're a really good person, well, actually, I will not date you unless I feel like you're a really good person. And usually if you're a really good person, you do care about other beings other than yourself. And you know what, even if you didn't care about animals, it's about this, the world behind me. There's a map of the world behind me to remind me that there's a world. It's not just about us. It's not just about the animals. Like if we want to leave an inhabitable earth for the human species in the next 100 or 200 years, we got to change this, what we're doing now. So, wow. Is this deep? Yep. I don't know.
You made a lot of good points I wanted to hit on. One of them being, I really like that you made the distinction between would you date a vegan versus would you marry a vegan? Like, even if you don't marry, let's say like spend like cohabitate. Yeah. Spend your life, like the majority, like
Life partner.
80%. Right. Like the majority of your day and your time you're with this person. So I think that's like kind of the deciding factor for me. Because when I think about like dating someone who eats meat, no problem, like whatsoever. Like I don't judge. I truly don't judge. And as long as they're not judgmental of me, like I'm good with that. I have been on dates where I've had guys kind of pressure me and give me shit about it. And then that's just like a hard no. For the same reason, it's like if you follow some sort of religion, like if you're Hindu or you're Christian or you're Buddhist or whatever you are, and this person's trying to change your spiritual beliefs, it's kind of the same thing because veganism is really a spiritual belief. You're valuing the life of another species. That would be a hard no. Like I went on a date with this guy one time and like we went to this Mexican restaurant and he ordered like shrimp, steak, chicken, fajitas. And I was like, fuck, like 3 animals just died for your meal. Like, that's so crazy. I didn't say that, but I was thinking that. But I'm like, all right, well, let's see how it goes. And then he just like is like, well, I don't understand why you're vegan. Like, why are you vegan? Can you explain it to me? And so I just did in the best way that I could. He started telling me about all of these stories about him growing up on a cattle ranch and how it was just normal, how they would have to go kill the cows and they were just products. Basically, it wasn't like a living being. And it was terrible. So like in that situation, kind of like the girl on Reddit, it's like you said, if the person genuinely respects you and wants to get to know you, then they shouldn't care that you're vegan. And I've had dates with me eating guys who they didn't care, like they just wanted to get to know me and it really wasn't an issue for them. But then the distinction is like living with this person, cohabitating with this person, you're traveling with this person. Like right now, it's so easy for me with my boyfriend because it's like I can go get groceries for us. He's not like, hey, can you pick me up a pack of chicken? I don't think I'd be able to buy meat for someone, and like right now I can meal prep for him. So like I occasionally will make some food for him to take to work because he works really long hours. And I don't know how I would feel if I had to meal prep for someone who ate meat. I don't know if I could do it. So
I literally couldn't do it. The last time I ate meat
right.
was 10 years old. I don't know how to cook chicken. I don't know how to make. I do remember making scrambled eggs, but like I don't know how to cook steak. I don't People are talking about you need thermometers for your food. I'm like, not if you're vegan. You got to be worried about food poisoning. Well, I've never had food poisoning. I even ate street fair food last weekend that had been sitting out for 12 hours. It was going to get thrown away. And I was like, oh, it ain't going to get thrown away. It's going to get taken care of. Didn't get sick.
Yep.
So yeah, like, and then you got it in your kitchen. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like, I was thinking about getting a roommate. I actually shout out Royce, come back. I need you. I need you in my life, brother. He's vegan, obviously. So that's super easy. But I had a friend that was maybe gonna move in with me, and like then I thought about it. I was like, shit. Now half the fridge is gonna have meat. We're gonna have to have two different pots, two different pans. I'm not gonna want him to borrow my Tupperware. Yeah, nah, I can't. I don't know if I can cohabitate long term with a non-vegan. So, and it's not
Right.
out of like judgment. It's more out of like, well, my kitchen is just not that big. If I lived in a bigger place, maybe. But I have friends that'll never be vegan. I know they won't. I mean, one is an avid hunter, and people are like, "Oh my god, how could you be around that?" And it's like, well, really, like to be honest with you, I feel like now I'm not in this position, but if I were an animal, I'd rather be killed by a hunter than by a factory farm. So if it's going to happen one way or another, I'd rather it be the hunter. Um, Also, the hunter puts some thought into what they're doing and is not cognitively dissonant. Like they understand, yes, I'm killing this animal, I'm taking their life. Whereas with factory farms and stuff, you're like, well, I'll just pay somebody else to do it and not think about it and pretend and put my head under the sand. So I almost have more respect for them in that way because they understand their actions and their ultimately too. Hunters probably kill, I don't know, a few thousand, a few, maybe 100,000 animals a year, but we're killing 80 billion a year in factories. So like, I ain't so worried about the hunters right now. We'll deal with that problem once we solve factory farming. But what I can say is like by being friends with this person, he's extremely respectful. Never made a single vegan joke about me. He respects me and I respect him. And now I think at least when he talks about vegans or thinks about vegans, he'll think about me. And maybe if somebody's like, oh, well, I was going to be vegan, but I can't because I want to work out. He'd be like, nah, check out my buddy John. Like, check him out. So yeah, I don't want to alienate anybody because if we alienate people, we call them. I know you're joking before. We call them carnists, and we push them away. They're never going to want to come to our side. So I love that Sean has come up with pre-vegans. That's what I call people. I say, "Are you vegan?" And they're like, "No." I say, "Oh, you're a pre-vegan, not yet, but you're on your journey." And I think it encourages people to be open-minded instead of locked into wherever they're at.
Yeah, you're gonna have
Um,
a very small circle if you only associate with vegans, and it's not a good look either. Like you wanna be compassionate, like you're showing that's another thing with vegans sometimes. I'm like, the whole point is to be compassionate to living beings. If we're not being compassionate to people too, then, what's the point of being vegan? So I do think that's important, to not, like you said, alienate people. And it's just like with any relationship. I mean, friendships are the same way. If there's respect there, that's ultimately what matters. And like if somebody's gonna take you out on a date and you're like, I would love to go get vegan ice cream, but it's I'm gonna have to have vegan ice cream. So we need to go somewhere where I have an option, or we just go to a vegan restaurant and they're like, cool, yeah, no problem. Like, okay, see where it goes. And who knows, you might open their eyes. It sounds like for us, most of the time we've had people who are pretty open to our lifestyle, I mean, for the most part. So, um, yeah, I feel like you shouldn't just block people out because they're not vegan. Um, I don't have you seen the show Love on the Spectrum?
yeah, that's a pretty good
Abs
one.
Absolutely love that show. I was dying laughing last night because one of the main people in it, he went on this date and he was asking her, so what kind of food do you like? Do you like barbecue? She's like, "Well, I'm vegetarian." And then, like, off camera, he was like, "Well, she's vegetarian, but I guess it's not a big deal. I mean, it's just a minor issue. I really like her, and I think we can get past it." And it's just so funny to me.
Was that the dude with the long white hair?
The long blonde hair, yeah, and he
Yeah.
loves swords, and yeah,
Yes, I remember. That's a good show.
I love it.
They're so they miss social cues. They miss like things that are normalized in society, but they have no fucking filter. You don't have to
Yeah,
question like If they think you're fat or ugly, or if they think that you're wonderful, they're just open and honest, and I kind of like it. Like that's I try to be a little bit like that. People don't always love what I have to say, or people think I'm being really nice. They're like, "Oh my god, you said that? That's so kind of you." I'm like, "It wasn't a compliment. It was just the truth. Like that was a really good set." Or your hair looks really good today. Like, yes, it's a compliment, but like, I don't give fake ones. If your hair doesn't look good, I'm not gonna be like, "Oh, your hair looks good today." I'm like, no, I'm a little bit too honest with people.
I love it. I'm obsessed. I was just telling my mom that last night. Like we have so much to learn from these people. And truly, I think their honesty is so refreshing. Like they'll be on a date and they're like, "So, honestly, how do you think this date is going?" And they're like, "Super awkward." And they're like, "Okay." Like it's they're just so honest, and I also just love how innocent and pure their relationships are. It's not like anybody's trying to use anybody, like they're not interested in just, a one night stand or whatever. Like they genuinely want to find their right match. They're like, she's not into nature. Nah, next one. Like, she
Yeah.
doesn't like Transformers. She's not gonna be right for me. You know what I mean? Like, there's just so like they just really want their right match. And although they may be a little too picky, but to me, it's just there's so much we can learn about them and how they approach love and how they approach relationships, which it's just really cute. I'm just obsessed with that show right now.
You said too picky, and then this brings me back to your therapist saying you need to lower your expectations, and like everything inside of me is exploding with like, what?
Right? Yeah.
Um, First of all, I don't know this therapist. Maybe this is just a one-off. Maybe they meant, Brooke, you should get out there and see what there is before immediately shutting it all down
Yeah.
just because it's not vegan. But fuck lowering your expectations. That's something that I've changed. I'd rather be single than be with okay or good. It's either a fuck yes or I'm getting the hell out. That's where I'm
Yes.
at. And that's where you should be at. If you do not say, do you want to be with the person that you're with? If it's not a fuck yes, what are you doing? You're
Yep.
wasting two people's time, not just one. All right. So we could talk about getting into relationships and then getting out of. So how do you personally date? What is your strategy? Like well, you've been in a relationship for a bit, assuming you needed to date again or in the past, what was your way of operating? How would you find dates? Or do they just come to you?
Um, you know, I have like I've experimented with dating apps, and I don't really like the dating apps. I just find it's very much like hookup culture kind of. So that has never worked for me, but I do know it works for some people. Always working meeting people organically has typically, well, this time it did work out for me. I will say don't meet people at the gym. That's a terrible idea because geez, you break up and then you got to see this person, and then oh my gosh, it's like that was
There
a
wa-
lesson I learned the hard way.
there was a time where I was at the gym with four separate women I had dated.
Ugh.
Gainesville was small.
Well, yes, that's true. You were in a very small town. So yeah, but it's like it's hard because you go to the gym, and I remember this. I'd literally only gone on like 2 dates with this guy, and he was super into me, but I just was not feeling it. Like we just had nothing in common, and it just wasn't going anywhere. And he would just always come try to talk to me between my sets. Hey, like when are we gonna go out again? I'm like, well, I'd really like to just be friends, but he just kept trying. Like he just wouldn't take no for an answer, which respect. I appreciate the perseverance there, but I ended up just changing gyms because I was just like, God, I can't do it.
You should have love on the spectrum to him. Like, hey, dude, you don't bench over 135. I'm just not interested. I don't know how else to tell you.
For real, for real. But yeah, I think meeting people organically is really good. And I know we kind of talked about in our notes off air, like if you do want to meet a vegan, there are places that you can meet vegans, like
Mhm.
vegan restaurants. You can always meet people there, vegan events, like all these events John's going to with Sean and all these people. Volunteering. I met a cool guy, and it didn't end up working out, but I met a guy volunteering at an animal sanctuary once, and we're still friends though. Actually, we just didn't really have much in common either, so we just are friends now. But that's a great way to meet people, and of course, John is now. Are you officially working with Vegly? Or
I can say I'm officially working with Vegly. It's vegan Tinder basically. I mean, Tinder has some negative connotations, but it's the same system. It's you log in, you make your profile, you look pretty, and then you can say like or hide on people. And so you can determine whether or not you like somebody based on how they look in a 2 sentence thing. But just get the conversation started. See if you guys have anything in common and go from there. Because if vegan is the only thing you have in common, you still probably are not looking for the ideal, like there you
yeah,
got to have more than that.
yeah.
But it's super cool. What I do like about Veggie too, and see, if I go on Tender and I go on like the just friends setting, I know what I'm getting into. I know, well, there's gonna be a lot of guys that are just want to be friends with me, that want to be more than friends, or there's guys trying to do the same thing to women. Like it's just not gonna. But on Vegly, I do believe in the friends aspect. If you're like in a new city and you're trying, like, you're not really looking to date, or you already got a significant other, but you want to like have some vegan meetups with other vegan people, maybe go for a hike or whatever you do. They have a friends option. So I do think that's really cool, because I do think just for friends, not for dating, being vegan, you're already gonna have a ton of shit to talk about. It's gonna be easy.
Mhm.
Um,
I was on Vegly briefly. It didn't really work out for me, but I will say Florida has a way better vegan community than Atlanta does. So like it was mostly just like all these like really older
I knew what you were about to say. It's I think it's changed in the
weird
last
men.
couple of years, Brooke. I
Yeah,
think I'm a,
maybe it is, maybe it has changed, but I will say this, like compared to Tinder or like Bumble, I do feel it's less hookup culture-y. Like I feel
yeah.
like it truly is people wanting to make genuine connections, and really actually have a real relationship and just get to know you. Whereas I don't feel like you really get that on Tinder.
Well, I got engaged from Tinder, and I got another year-long relationship after that from Tinder. So, um,
I think with
y-
men it's
it,
different. I think like with you being a man though, like you're gonna get out of it what you put into it, you know? But I do feel like there's a lot of guys, a lot of sketchy
sure.
guys who go on there and they're just,
Well, you know what? Be upfront. If you're just on there to have sex, there's nothing wrong with that. It's
yeah,
just don't like tell somebody, hey, yeah, I really want to date you. I want to get to know you. I want to talk to your mom, and we're just gonna
right.
hang out one night and then that's it.
Yeah.
That's a little disingenuous. And I felt like on Vegly, I did match with a couple of girls that are like, I'm not looking for a relationship. I'm just looking for somebody to have fun with. Um, that's it. Like no strings attached. And I was like, well, we'll see if we end up meeting up or not. And like I didn't really hardcore pursue any of those. There was one woman that I did go on a date with who I got 10,000 steps in. So like this is how I set it up for me. I was like, I want to go to the pier. Actually, that was the day I dropped my dad off at the pier. I dropped his ashes off on a first date. I'm just
Wow.
such me. That's just me in a nutshell. Um, I had
That's some love on the spectrum stuff right there for
there's a
sure.
spectrum there. I got my fanny pack with my dad in it, and I told myself I was like, hey, 3:30 on Friday, I'm gonna go catch the beach right before the sun sets. Have some time to walk in the sun, get my steps in, drop my dad off at the beach. And I told her, I was like, no pressure. I'm gonna be there. If you want to show up, show up. If you don't, it's not gonna upset me. And she showed up and we walked and we talked for like 2 hours. And then she told me, hey, this ain't for me, but like you're a cool person. And we're still friends on Facebook. And she shouts me out. Anytime somebody needs coaching, she shouts me out because she's part of like the Tampa Vegans group. So I'm like, hey, you can go on a date with somebody and you don't have to do anything, and you can still get a friend out of it. Like I'm probably never gonna date her, but she'll be my friend. So cool. Another person in my support group, and same to her. If she needs something, I'm there for her. For me, I guess I've had luck both ways. Jobs are an easy way. I used to like work in daycare at a church of all things.
No way.
Yeah, you didn't know that? Oh my
I did
god.
not know this.
So at 14, my mom still forced me to go to church. We went to a really liberal church, like super open-minded, like cool about the gay community, like just a honestly not a bad place. But I was still a 14-year-old kid. I didn't want to go to church. So they're like, well, we'll pay you to come be in the nursery and like watch these kids. And I'm like, I can get paid. Hell yeah, I'm getting out of church. So I ended up getting that was my first job. And that led to my first relationship over a year. And then a week later, it led to my second relationship over a year while they were both still working there. I'm not the smartest 17-year-old in the world. I don't know why I thought that was going to go over well, but um so that worked. Yeah, if you're a man, like go be a nurse. Go do something where you're surrounded by women. It'll eventually work out. I was like one of the two guys out of like 10 women at this place. So I had a numbers game on my side. If you're on Tinder, you're on the opposite side of that numbers game.
Yep.
Um, but
Or not vegally though, I think. I feel like you're probably
oh,
outnumbered by women on vegally.
oh yeah. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, guys, go vegan. If you're listening to this and you're not vegan, like you'll highlight yourself in the dating pool.
Oh yeah.
Um, yeah, yeah. So like now, if I were to try and date, like, well, it kind of sucks because I like girls that work out, not even so much based on how they look, but just the fact that they work out, like that they
Mhm.
take care of themselves, that they value themselves enough to go to the gym. So the person I'm dating now, like I had cardio one day and she had training. And I was like, well, you could, do whatever. And she's like, yeah, your apartment gym's good enough. Like we can go there. So I do my cardio and I'm like, hey, I'm done. You want me to hang out for a little bit while you finish up? She's like, nah, dude, I'm good. I go back home, I shower, I get to work. I look and it's been like an hour and she just came back. I'm like, how'd your lift go? And she's like, it was great. I was like, oh, I like this. Like, she doesn't need me there. She's still gonna take care of herself. I'm not gonna fuck with her workout. She's still like she values herself, which makes me want to value her even more. So um I guess that was like if I were single, would I look at the gym? Maybe, but then yeah, we'll be
Tricky.
running into that
Yeah.
same. Maybe I'll go to a different gym on different hours, like go at like 7 a.m. to a different gym and look for a
There you
woman
go.
there. Because
Yeah.
I'm a creature of habit. I'm at the gym the same time, same gym every day. Like I know everybody else's routine. Like it'd be awkward if you, yeah. But yeah, eventually works. I actually met the person that I'm dating on Facebook dating of all places. Like
Oh.
it was almost like meant to be. I don't know. You wouldn't. I didn't expect it. I'm honestly blown away with this whole process. I wasn't really. I don't know what I was looking for, but apparently something healthy, and that's an area where I think that's why I was okay dating again because I'd set my standards so high that if anybody didn't meet those or like really exceed them, honestly, I would just say, hey, yeah, this ain't what I'm looking for, and I would end things. I I view dating now almost like I view business. Like when I helped with the hiring process for the last business I looked at, there were multiple applicants, multiple interviews. It was a while before we settled on somebody, and we made sure that they were a really good fit before bringing them on. And that's how I feel like you should view dating. Like don't just because somebody's interested in you, somebody asked you on a date, like that doesn't mean you have to latch onto that person, try and fix them, try and save them, try and
Yep.
do all the things that I used to do.
I think that's so important too in date, and that's something I've like honestly just in the past maybe year or two come to realize. Like they might check some of your boxes, but that doesn't mean that they're right to be in a relationship with you. Like I feel like my first boyfriend, I'm like, okay, well, I like you. I like hanging out with you. We have some things in common, but I couldn't trust him at all. He cheated on me with my best friend. And so then my next relationship, I liked him. We had fun hanging out. We had a lot in common. I felt like I could trust him, but we didn't really have good communication. There wasn't a lot of respect there. And I feel like because of that first experience, which was kind of traumatic, all I cared about was just having someone that I trusted. So I kind of settled for some of the other things. But then once that ended, um, I don't know. I'm like at a place now where I'm like, okay, yes, you're vegan. That's awesome. You live. That's awesome. You have a good job. You're secure. You like all of these things, but can you communicate well? Do you respect me? Do we have trust? Like there's so many other important parts of a relationship, and most of it is just you healing yourself and overcoming your trauma, and other people have to do that to be able to bring the right things to a relationship. Because if you're bringing your insecurities and you're looking for security from another person, that's where you get those toxic relationships and you run into trouble. And most of my like early 20s, that's what I was doing, is I was looking for security and reassurance. And I was kind of same, like trying to fix people, like definitely had that savior kind of complex, which after going through therapy, I learned is some kind of a mechanism that we have when we really want to feel valued and loved. Like we feel like if we fix this person and we change their life and we help them, they're going to love us forever because we changed their life, and they're going to think of us as just this amazing person, and they're never going to leave us because we changed their life. So, you know, you go as you go through all these relationships, you pick up little pieces that you can take with you, and then like I feel like you finally figure it out, and then you can have the right healthy relationship. Some people get lucky and maybe they have it the first time around, but I feel like nowadays more than ever, you have to go through a couple, as my grandpa says, frogs before you get to the prince.
I love that. I love all your little sayings. Uh, button up, Buttercup, buckle up, Buttercup, and then that. I think a big part of it, and it took me a while to get there. You, myself, I'll even speak for Brent. We
Yep.
try and save other people, or at least we used to, because of our egos. We think we're big and strong enough to fix other people. We think so highly of ourselves that we can help somebody else see the things that they need to see and that they can change their life if they just listen to us, if we say it the right way, convince them the right way, support them the right way. But you can't. We're not Superman, we're not Superwoman. Like you can only do so much, and outside of being a good partner, you can't save somebody. And that's a bitter pill to swallow when you really want to save someone. And then also notice that, like when I was starting to get back into dating recently, yeah, it's the weirdest thing, dude. It's like I'll see a girl on Veggie and she's like 25, 30, whatever, works at Starbucks going to school. I'm like, oh yeah, they got so much going on. Like they're working on themselves, they got a job, they're in school. And then I'm like, not to downplay anybody that's working at Starbucks. I'm starting to think like, oh well, if they needed help on their bills, or like, if they needed some extra work, I got work around here that I could, like, I start to think of ways that I can help them. But it's like that's their journey. They're trying to figure that out. I don't need to do that for them. That's not really helping them. That's just enabling is not the right word, but it's they need to go through these things. They need to learn how to figure out their own way. So when I find somebody that has their career figured out, is completely financially secure, will not be dependent upon me for money, has been through therapy, done self-healing, self-work, all the things that my current person is doing, like, then I feel personally a lot more secure because I'm like, I don't need to save them. They don't need me. They're here because they want to. And if they get laid off from their job or if something happens, I'm not their backup plan. Like they'll figure it out. And I've been that backup plan in the past. I've been that person that tries to save my partner, or when I was engaged, I stayed in that relationship for a long time because I thought I could save those kids. I thought I could be the dad
Yep.
that they needed, and that was really, really hard to walk away from and to admit to myself that I wasn't making the situation any better. Um, so yeah,
Yeah.
that's
One of the most powerful things I've ever heard was I was leaving a pretty serious relationship I had, and this was probably one of the biggest turning points in my life, was leaving this relationship. I was dating someone who had BPD. And anyone listening, if you're familiar with that, you probably know what I went through. But
to
I
clarify.
didn't.
I know what it means. I think I know what BPD is, bipolar disorder.
Borderline personality
So I
or
don't. Okay.
yeah, so it's a little bit different than bipolar. Um it's well, I don't know. It's hard to say if it truly was BPD or if he picked up some jargon from his therapist. I'm not going to totally get into that, but that was what we were under the assumption of. But it was very challenging. And when I met him, I didn't know any of this stuff. It was fine. And like we met on Instagram. So like it was long distance for a while, so you can kind of like cover up some stuff and like be your best self, of course. And then more and more just crazy incidences started happening while we were together. Eventually it was so abusive. It was just totally consuming my life. I completely lost who I was and lost my light in that entire relationship. I moved back home and I started leaning on my friends around me, and I had this friend who had gone through a lot. She was actually an addict, and her husband, her fiance, actually had left her right before their marriage because she just was having a really hard time getting it together. And she told me, she was like, Brooke, if love could fix people, you would have fixed him, because of the way that you love people and the way that your heart is and how big your heart is. It would have fixed him. But love can't fix people. Otherwise, there wouldn't be addicts. There wouldn't be human trafficking. There wouldn't be abusers. There wouldn't be all of this horrible stuff in the world. There wouldn't be war. If love was that powerful that it could fix people, we wouldn't have any of these issues. And that hit me so deep. And I just never looked at relationships the same. And that totally kind of cured me of that I feel like I can fix this person mentality, because it just truly, it was like, yeah, I really do. Like, I love with all I have and with all my heart. And I walked away from that relationship knowing 100% I gave my best. I did everything I could. I put my whole heart into it. And I gave so much sympathy, and I did everything that I could. And if that had been enough, it would have fixed him. It would have been perfect. And that really stuck with me, and I actually told Brent that, and it hit Brent the same way, and he was like, "Wow, thank you so much for sharing that with me." And it's just so powerful. And it's kind of the same with you. Like, you have such a big heart. Like, if your love could fix someone, it would. Like, you are a great person. You don't go around hurting people. So I think that's important to remember too, is like, it's sometimes it's not about you. It's just this person, they have so much inner trauma or just issues or just unresolved conflict that they have to work on. Like, your love cannot fix people. It's they have to deal with it on their own, just like how we have to deal with our own issues on our own. And that's why we're here today, and we have big hearts, and we can be open, and we can give the love that we give. That person that you're trying to fix and that you're trying to force this relationship with, they got to figure their shit out too. But yeah, I feel like you just have to know that you put your all into it, you gave your heart, and sometimes it's just not enough, and that's okay. Eventually you'll find somebody who that is more than enough.
Yeah. Or the better alternative, you'll be single. It,
Yeah.
I realized when I finally was like okay being single, that's when I was like healthy enough to date again. Like when you're not trying to fix a problem, when you're not bored and lonely and just want somebody to watch Netflix with, like when you can genuinely enjoy your own company and you're not leaning on a relationship to fix your issues, then you're ready to date again. But if you're thinking like, oh, I'm not happy or parts of my life are unfulfilled, a relationship's going to fix this, like I can just about guarantee it's going to blow up in your face
Yep.
sooner or later. Well, it is that time of the podcast that I need to pull a John. So I'm going to run to the bathroom and grab some water. I think now would be a great time for us to talk a little bit about our coaching. Maybe we could take a slight, like a little advertisement. Brooke, you can talk while I'm gone and just say if you're
Okay.
taking clients, what that might, whatever you want. I don't know. Talk about whatever you want. I'll be back in a minute.
All right. We will be back in a minute, but for right now, we are going to pause for a short commercial break. So, yes, Meatless Muscle Coaching. I'm currently accepting clients. I have 2 spots opening up in March. I'm not sure when this podcast will release, but as of March, I will have 2 spots available. It is custom one-on-one coaching, custom workouts. They are tailored to you from home or the gym. They take place in my app. So basically, You get your videos, you can see exactly how to do it. You're able to log your reps and your weights and keep track of everything there. Nutrition is customized as well. So if you have any allergies or just foods that you really, really love, like you love, I don't know, protein brownies, I'll try to work that in there for you. So it's totally custom to you. And you'll also have supplement recommendations as well. So I'll help you with that. And we track your food with MyFitnessPal, which syncs with my app. So I can see everything you're eating and how much. And as far as our communication, we'll have monthly Zoom calls. We will have weekly check-ins going over your progress. And you'll also have direct messenger access to me if you have a question or you just need some support. And you'll have some access to my support group too, which I'm actually trying to launch some weekly group calls because I feel like that would be a lot of fun. So if that sounds like something that would help you, shoot me a DM. Let me know if you're interested. And yeah, I'll get you all set up and started. All right, we're back from the commercial break, unless John wants to insert his commercial.
I will insert my commercial phrasing. I heard all of that. Brooke is a phenomenal coach. You guys aren't going to go wrong with
Aw.
her. I'm gonna be real here. I'm getting a little more strict with who I'm taking on. If you want to work with me, you better be serious. Better be ready to work. Better be ready
Ditto.
to follow directions. If I say send your photos and your weigh-ins and your check-in form, don't send me one of those. Send me all three. Mostly focused on people that really want to change. Like if you are just looking to get back into the gym for the first time ever, there might be a better value out there for you. You might be able to find somebody who can help you more with that. But if you're looking to transform, change your life, be a walking billboard for veganism, or get into competitive bodybuilding, I'd love to work with you. So shoot me a DM, go to the bodybuildingvegan.com, however you want to do it. But yeah, cool. We are back. I think I needed a moment because I think we're about to get into some heavy stuff.
Yeah, we were getting into
Um,
heavy stuff there.
how do you know, either through example, like a personal example, or like a guideline, how do you know when it's the right time to leave a relationship? How
Mm,
did you, especially an abusive relationship?
that is a great question because it took me years to learn when to leave. And I never most of my dating life, I never left when it was time to leave. And if I could go back, I would have left a lot sooner. I think, as soon as you realize that you're not happy, it's draining you, it's taking away from some other part of your life. Um, if trust is broken, if respect is broken, I would say it's time to leave. And maybe sometimes it's not like if it's not an abusive situation, I think yeah, like if it's just taking away from your life in some sort of way, like if you're, you know, if you're not hanging out with your friends as much because you feel like it's going to upset this person, that's something to think about if it's holding you back in any sort of way. If you're like, "Man, I'd really like to do a bodybuilding show, but my significant other, they're worried about me being up there in a bikini." There's stuff like that out there. So any sort of thing that's holding you back from being your best self, from waking up and just being happy every day, and it's taking away from you and you're having to suppress your authentic self, it's time to take a step back for sure. um I do think, I think in rare situations people can change, but I do think you have to give someone like an allotted amount of chances. Like you can't just keep giving people chance after chance after chance after they tell you, "Okay, well I'm going to change, I'm going to do better," but they keep repeating the behavior. You have to be like, "All right, 3 strikes you're out," or maybe even less. For me now, after everything I've been through, it's pretty much 1 strike you're out. Bye.
It's a different ball game.
Yeah.
And the thing is, are they lying to you or are you lying to yourself? When they say
Yes.
they're going to change, you fucking know they aren't. I guess maybe some people, but honestly, the biggest changes I've seen in people was not while they're in a relationship, it was outside of it. And I'm not saying that you can't do self work and you can't change yourself. I'm just saying in my own personal experience, when I've had a boundary be crossed, a a red flag risen too many times, and I say, okay, if this happens every time, I'll put it this way: every time I've said, if this happens again, I'm out. Guess what? It happened again, and I had to get out. And usually it wasn't the first time. I mean, I'll speak to my own example here. I did go through. I'm going to call it an abusive relationship. It wasn't physically abusive. It never got to that point, but the words that were used, it was the first time I had been yelled at, and I don't mean like, oh, once something happened, but like multiple times a day, screamed in my face. Um, I didn't quite realize that that was abuse. I mean, I'm a big man. How is that abuse? How could you let a woman abuse you? When they tell you that you don't love them, or that you don't love their children, or that you don't matter, or that like things like that. Like when I start to question my integrity as a human because I'm dating this person, am I really not a good person? Do I really not love the kids? Like, do I like what can I do to prove it? I'll put it this way: I worked in law enforcement for a bit, and it blew my mind that these women would stick with their either physical or mental abusers. And I would just think, why don't you just walk away? What is wrong with you? Why don't you just get out of it? Get out. All you got to do is grab your shit and leave. It's that easy. It's not that easy. I now, after going through that, can at least in some way relate to what those women have been through. If nothing else, the mind games. I think had I been smacked around, I can't be sure here, but I think if I had been hit, it would have been easier to leave, because a bruise or a fist, those are objective. Whereas, well, they said they weren't really yelling at me. I would know if they were yelling. Then you start to play games. You start to get gaslit. And yeah, so I mean, in that relationship, I got to the point where I had ended it, but then I went back.
Yep.
And when I went back, I had a contract. I wrote out like, I will, if you call me a name, if you yell at me, if you say the relationship is over, because that happened too. The relationship had been ended by that person 10, 15 times. And it was a mind game. And so I wrote down, if any of these happen, I'm out. And guess what? Like, guys, I didn't just stay in this for like a week, a month. I was in this relationship for 18 months. Um, and I was yelled at within the first 2 weeks. And I said, I had the foresight to know we need therapy. So from the third week on, we were in therapy together for 18 months.
Wow. Yeah.
And that person didn't miss a single session. They showed up every time. And so I thought, they're going to change. They're going to change. They're going to change. I wrote the contract. It was like bliss. It was like everything I wanted for 5 days. And then on the sixth day, it happened again. And I knew I had to leave. And I knew a year before that I had to leave. I just didn't know how. I I think the best thing that you can do is value and love yourself first. You have to love yourself more than your partner. And that sounds selfish. And you think, "Oh no, I'm going to do anything I can for my partner." But if you start sacrificing yourself for your partner, you're no longer of value to them. You're not your best version of yourself. Would I take a bullet for my partner? Yeah, but I'd take a bullet for a random dude on the street. Like, that's just the type of person I am. But will I sacrifice my integrity? Will I sacrifice what I could be of value to this world for another person? I won't. And so when you start saying, I'm in the relationship because I want to take care of these kids, I'm in the relationship because they can't afford school without me, I'm in the relationship because we can't afford to live in two separate places. When you get to those points, when you're not, I'm in the relationship because they make me a better person, I'm in the relationship because they challenge me in positive ways, I'm in the relationship because I can trust them, because they've been nothing but kind and sweet to me, or because even though we have issues, we're working on it, and we're working on our communication, and things are more good than not. If you're not saying those things, you're justifying something that you shouldn't be in.
Yep.
So
Our
that was like,
stories are so similar. Like that, the abusive relationship you had is so similar to mine. And for people listening, I was kind of like, I wasn't fresh out of it. I'd probably been out of it for maybe 5 months or so, or maybe 6 months when I met John. And that's something that I feel like we really bonded over, at least for me, because I felt like a lot of people didn't get it. And I think people listening who have been through a similar situation, they'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Like you tell people about the relationship, and sometimes people just don't understand like exactly like the manipulation, the mind games, how you can really be rooting for this person even though they're harming you and hurting you. You're just hoping that they'll pull through it and you'll get that person that they were in the beginning. Um and there's just so many commonalities, and like you said, it's I feel like people sometimes don't understand, especially a lot of women. They don't understand, or and men too, actually. They don't understand exactly what abusive means.
Mhm.
You'll hear people say, "Well, he doesn't hit me." Well, he doesn't have to hit you to be abusive. She didn't have to beat you up to be abusive. Um, Taking you away from your friends and your family, that's abusive. Gaslighting, like you said, that's abusive. Making you feel like you're crazy, making you feel like your feelings aren't valid. Telling you you can't post certain pictures, and you can't
You
um
can't talk to that person.
right, you can't talk to that person, you can't go to the gym without me, you can't, like, controlling someone is abusive. You can't control another person and tell them how to live their life, and that is something that I feel like a lot of people don't understand. Like, just because someone isn't physically abusive, mental abuse is arguably just as bad, because that's something that, like, when I finally left, I had to go through therapy to just rewire my brain
Yeah.
and figure out, like, why did I stay? Why did I believe this person when they told me they were going to change? Because just like in your relationship, he would always tell me, okay, well, I'm going to get a new therapist, I'm going to get on new medication, and he would do it. Like, he would actually do it. He would get a new therapist, he would show up twice a week for his therapy. um but nothing ever changed, and it only got worse. And I think most of the time it only gets worse, because I find with these people who are manipulative, it's like the more the mask slips and the more you realize who they really are, the worse it gets, because they want you to believe that they're perfect. They love you, they don't have any flaws, like this is just, something they're going through or something they're dealing with, but it's truly who they are, and it's just something they typically struggle with their whole lives. And the more you know really who they are, the more frustrated they get with you, and so the more conflict you have in the end. It never gets better. And it's like you said, like, I knew I should have left, like, months into the relationship. I didn't quite see it as soon as you did, because we were in opposite states. He was in Florida and I was in Georgia. And then eventually, when we moved in together, that's when I saw it all. And it's like, it's so hard for people to leave, though. And I think, like you said, it's just one of those things. You have to learn to love yourself, because I certainly didn't love myself enough in that situation. Not enough to say, this is bullshit. You're not going to call me these names. You're not going to destroy our house. You're not going to hold me accountable for paying for this stuff. I mean, just crazy stuff that I went through. And I had to learn to love myself and not deal with that, and put those boundaries up. And it's so funny, like, I wrote a contract. Like, if you call me this, if you call me X, Y, and Z, I'm leaving. If you tell me we're done, we're really done. Like, and I had him sign it, and of course, like you said, in just a matter of days, he broke it. It was just impossible. It was inevitable. um and eventually I did walk away, and I just had to cut him off completely. And then that's another thing. I have a friend right now who's in an abusive relationship. He doesn't hit her, but he's very mentally abusive, and she tries to cut him off, but, like, they'll still follow each other on Instagram, and they'll still, like, text each other happy birthday, or, like, they'll still, like, try to hang out as friends, and, like, they still end up in this toxic relationship. Like, in those situations, you got to cut it off. And, like, he would call me nonstop from these, like, caller ID, like, *67 numbers, like, to the point where I couldn't even work. I couldn't even do consultations, because my phone was literally blowing up all day, like every 5-10 minutes. but I didn't give in. I stayed so strong and I didn't give in. And then eventually it would be like 4 calls a day. And then it would be like a call a week. And then it would be like a call in 2 months. And then eventually he just left me alone. And I would get emails and I would get all this stuff. Like, it was insane. Like, luckily we were 15 hours apart, so I wasn't like in immediate danger. But like, you got to cut it off and you just got to move on with your life, learn to love yourself, heal, and maybe get a therapist,
Yeah.
and just do the best you can to cut it off and not, breadcrumb these people, because they're just going to try to suck you back in.
Yeah. What does your forearm say? You have a tattoo.
Unbreakable.
Yeah.
I got this when I left a really bad relationship. Yep.
Fuck yeah. Wow. I didn't know that you had written a contract, and we've talked about most of
Yeah.
this before off air, and it's crazy that we both had the same mindset. And I'm sitting here with my, I'll call it wisdom or experience. If you're thinking about writing a contract, get out.
Yes. It's
It,
stupid.
if you're at that point, if you're at that point, it's time to leave. And I mean, I was stepdad, so the kids weren't mine. But if they were biologically mine, I would have found a way to leave and then still do whatever my obligations were to those kids to be the best dad possible. But like, staying in an unhealthy, toxic relationship just because you have kids is not going to be a way to save them either. At least in my view. I'm sure every situation is unique, and I'm not trying to place judgment on anyone. I'm just saying you need to take care of yourself, or you won't be able to take care of anything else.
Yep.
Yeah, it would be. It's hard to categorize mental abuse. What I was thinking of, I was trying to remember. I've blocked some of this out, but I remember the texts that I would get. No one will ever love you the way I love you. No one will ever care about you the way I do.
Yep.
You know that you're difficult, but I put up with you. Like, things like that, where you start to question, shit, will I ever find somebody else? Maybe I should stay. This is all I'm going to get. That's mental abuse. Um, it's not a place that I visit a whole lot anymore. um, I'm grateful for the experience. It's given me a lot of perspective. It's shown me that even with therapy, even with it over a year invested in therapy, that some people aren't going to change, and that doesn't mean that I did anything wrong, other than potentially staying as long as I did. That I mean, can't go back and regret the past. Try and learn from it. But if you're listening and any of this rings true, it's probably not the first time. I mean, I've been set aside by my mom, by my brother, by my sister, by anybody that loved me and said, dude, you need to go. But you can hear it 1,000 times. And you know what? To all those people that do that, all those people that stood up and told me what I should do, thank you. Because it did take hearing it about 1,000 times. And I'll shout her out. Pam, my business partner's mom, she pulled me aside and one day was like, hey, I love you. When have you ever held this person accountable for their actions? And I didn't want to lie to this woman's face. And I said, not once. And it was at that moment that the gears started turning. And it's almost like turning vegan. Like my eyes have been opened. Like, I'm part of the problem here. I'm abused because I let them abuse me. I'm telling them what's okay. And when I actually did break up with her, she didn't even react because she thought I wasn't serious. She was shocked when I didn't come back the next day. And
Yep.
then the phone calls started, and then the texting started, and then the apologies started, then the everything. She was so blown away that even after the contract and everything else, that I was actually gone because she thought she could play that game forever.
Yep.
Some of y'all do get played forever. Some of y'all take 30 years.
Yep.
It's heavy. This is a heavy conversation.
Yeah. You just don't want to lose yourself in the process. And I know for me, I was very scared to know what life was going to be like without him, even though my life was an absolute hell. Like, literally every day was just I don't know what today's going to be like. Might be a good day, might be a bad day. And I know some people think, oh, well, there's good times, but it's like you said earlier, like if the majority of the time is you guys fighting and you're having to sacrifice your life and who you are to be with this person, it's not right. Like the good times don't matter. And the bad times are far outweigh the good times. Like it should be the majority of the relationship should be good times. And so I really hope maybe this hits home. I know that there's going to be people listening going through this because it's far too common. And so
Yeah.
I hope this hits home for people and this is your sign to save yourself, and I promise you life will be better. It's scary to do something new and to put yourself out there and you think you're going to be alone, but like I promise you, you will survive and your life is going to be so much better and you're going to grow. Like, I had the best year of my life when I left, and I was terrified. I was terrified. And not that the first like month or so was hard, but then eventually it started sinking in like, holy shit, I can do whatever I want to do. Like, I
Yeah.
can I can do a bodybuilding show. Like I can go to Tulum with my friend. Like I can hire a coach. Like I couldn't even hire a coach. I couldn't have a male coach. Like all this stuff. I mean, it was just absolutely crazy. And I lived my life to the absolute fullest. God, it makes me want to cry. Like when I think about it. Like I went to the Olympia that year and did the fashion show. And I got my life back. Like I totally just left all that shit behind me. So,
Yeah.
I don't know, I just hope a woman listening, you should just know, like, it gets better. It will get better, and you can make your life whatever you want it to be. You don't have to settle for that. Like, it will get better. And, like, just like you, like, if you had stayed in that relationship, we wouldn't even be friends.
No, I wouldn't have been allowed to be friends with you. It's
You and look at you, like, you're on top of the world now, like, you are, inspiring so many people, you are coaching, and you meet all of these incredible people, you're at this awesome gym, like, your life is just so full, and you have all these amazing people in your life, and I'm sure at one point you left or, you were thinking, like, "What is my life gonna be like without this person? How am I gonna make it through this?" And, like, you're 1,000 times better off than you thought you would have been, so I just hope somebody listening knows, like, it will get better. You just have to take charge of your life and make it happen, but it's so worth it. So worth it.
yeah. I, Brooke, you're inspirational. You
Oh,
helped me through a lot. I could look up to you at that time because that was around the time that we got to know each other. I remember the
yeah.
Tulum trip. We had talked on Instagram a little bit before that, but like that's when we really started to connect and become friends. And you inspired the hell out of me. Like, guys, my coaching wouldn't be where it's at if it wasn't for Brooke. If I didn't see what she was doing and realizing like, oh, it's like that's possible. Like it's kind of like when you go to the gym and it's the first time you're there and it's like the little gym that has 100-pound dumbbells. And then you go to like a big boy gym and you see 150s, you're like, holy shit, I didn't even know that was a thing. And then that's Brooke. That's Brooke for me. I'm actually, I remember your numbers. I remember your numbers from then, and I'm close to them now. And that's, I don't know what, almost 2 years, but like I saw that it could be done, and that's what I started working towards. And yeah, so if you love yourself and you get out of that abusive relationship, it's for you, but it's also for every other person you're going to interact with the rest of your life. If Brooke
Yes.
hadn't left that, she couldn't help me on my journey. She couldn't be out here inspiring probably tens of thousands of women to do what's right for them. Convincing other people to go vegan, like it's just like you have to love yourself. And so I think we both went through a very, very similar experience here with the abuse and the trauma and some of the fallout and then working on ourselves after it, which is actually funny because yeah, I started my prep right after that I was going to do it anyways. I think I actually do remember thinking to myself, there's no way I could prep in that household. It was too
Yeah.
to up and down abusive, like all like unstable. Like my sleep was off. My shit. Yeah, I'm gonna keep some of these stories to myself.
Yeah.
There were just some things that happened that should not have happened. I kind of want to. I want to talk on my other relationships because I did fall into some pitfalls. So back to Tinder. My Tinder sent me a notification. It was gonna be like my account was gonna be deleted after that relationship. Now I had not been on the account. I had deleted the app, but somehow I got an email and I hopped back on, not really sure what the hell I was doing. And I met my next relationship about 5 weeks later. Now everybody's like, "Oh, you needed time to heal," and like all this stuff. And I was still in therapy. I was actually still in therapy for that abusive relationship going into this next one, for a number of months until I realized in therapy we were actually talking about being bullied and stuff as a kid more than anything else. But I think what happened was after going through that abuse, I was still looking for like a life partner. That was always like a goal of mine. I had a cousin. I still have a cousin. Him and his wife got married very young. They had a kid like while they're in high school. They're still together, and that was always my idol. Like I want my wife, I want my partner, I want to be just like my cousin and just grow up like that. And I met my next relationship, and I thought that that's where it was going, and we started working towards that. And Brooke and I had talked off air about this. Um, I have recently heard of the term trauma bonding, and the woman I was with, she had just come out of an abusive relationship as well. Um, and so I think we bonded over that and unhealthy, and maybe in an unhealthy manner. We became inseparable. We spent every single day together for until she moved and we did long distance. But we still, even with long distance, we're on the phone 2 to 3 hours a day. Like we were always making time for each other and planning our future, planning kids, planning a house. Like my whole identity became this woman. And I told her from like the first weekend, I will always put your interests above my own. And that's where I fucked up. I started putting myself in a cage to be willing to be the type of person that she wanted. And she did the same for me. It was weirdly, it wasn't toxic in the sense that we hurt each other. I think we healed each other a lot. I think we're both better off for meeting each other. She's the one that put "have the best day ever" into my life. I got this tattooed after, but I didn't want to lose that. I didn't want to lose that lesson. I have a way of saying it. Like I used to think she was put here to make me happy. I'm realizing she was here on my journey to teach me how to be happy. And it wasn't just her, it was enjoying life, enjoying the day, enjoying the moment, being present. And so when she broke up with me, that was a way harder breakup than me leaving abuse because I'm not going to say it's easy to leave your abuser. It's not. It was probably one of the hardest decisions I ever made, but it was a decision I made. When someone else did it to me, that was hard to come out from. That was the lowest point I'd ever been in my life. That was probably the closest I'd ever considered suicide. I literally felt like overnight I had no clue where I was going or what I was doing. But guys, I'll tell you, probably the best thing that ever happened to me. So if you're going through a breakup right now, you have no clue what's on the other side. This tattooed, it's in my best friend's handwriting. I didn't meet her until after that breakup. Like I wouldn't have Alyssa in my life if I had stayed in that relationship. So you never know who or what is right around the corner. And while a breakup might feel like the worst thing in the world at the time, for me, it was a gift. It was such a gift. I learned I have to love every day. And I carried this forward. I carried this forward into my next relationship and into my current one. Every day with the person next to me is a gift. They might die tomorrow. They can promise you the world. They can promise you kids. They can promise you everything, but we're all human. Any of us could get hit by a bus. Any of us could get cancer. Any of us could decide we don't like this and we're going to get up and leave. And so I no longer try to control my future. I try and go with the flow with the river, whatever the term you want to use is, and enjoy each day. Of course, I'm still putting money in my retirement account. I'm working towards big long-term goals. I still go to the gym to maybe get in another bodybuilding show, but I'm less concerned with, hey, what's our 10-year plan? What are we going to name our kids? What school are we going to send our kids? Like you'll figure all that out then. Be on the same page with the person, maybe make sure they have some of the same ethical beliefs as you, but don't I guess if I could relive that relationship, I would have just enjoyed each day. The ending would have been the same. And I feel like going forward in my next relationship, I ended up walking away because I felt it was holding me back from this, like being what I need to be in the world. I felt a little bit limited on what I was able to comfortably do without making that person feel insecure. And so I had to walk away for that reason. And that was me choosing myself and loving myself and putting my own interests first, which is therefore putting the world first or anybody else like Brooke that I'm interacting with first. And you know what? It actually helped that other person too. They're now on their journey doing what they should be doing, living their own life, doing things that they had always dreamed of doing. And so, yeah, breakups like they can be painful, but pain isn't always bad. It's like leg day. If it doesn't hurt, it ain't working. So if you're going through something hard, I tell people, I tell them this most loving way possible that I can. I hear that you're going through a breakup. I'm not going to say I'm sorry. I'm just going to say you're going to get a hell of a lot stronger than you realize you needed to be, and you can use that, and you can grow from it, and it's how you want to view things. So
Yeah.
I need to take a breath. That was a lot. I just wanted to put that out there. That's my own personal journey, my own personal thoughts. But you
I
got to put your
agree. Breakups are a gift, even though it doesn't feel like it right now. Truly, like it's like John said, like when you see it, I mean, hindsight, 2020, you'll see it as a gift because there's just I mean, I don't know, if you believe, I mean, I know you believe in the law of attraction. It's like the universe will force you to leave a situation that is not for you, and hopefully you listen, because you're going to find the path that is for you. Like I said, like literally I was so scared to leave, but I had the best year of my life. I mean, my life just like blew up. I was finally able to be myself. And when I was myself is when I got all these opportunities. I met all these incredible people. I had all these awesome connections come into my life. And it's like, you can't do that if you're in the wrong place. And breakups are hard. It takes healing. And maybe it wasn't a bad relationship and you still care about that person, but it just wasn't right for you at that time. And you can't be your best self with the wrong person. And maybe you need to be single, maybe you need to heal, maybe you just need to find the right person, but you can't do it if you're in the wrong place. So yeah, I agree with you. Breakups, they suck, they hurt, but it's going to get better. And it was for a reason, almost always.
just like Bulgarian split squats. They suck, they hurt, but it's for a reason, dude. Sorry. Okay, I was making a joke, but yeah, I think you gain so much wisdom and insight that you wouldn't be able to if you didn't go through that pain.
And
Um,
being present, like you said, that is something I feel like a lot of people lose in relationships too. And truly, and then that's another thing that I think people need to think about if you're in the wrong relationship. Like I lost my friend, a close friend last year to cancer. He was only 28, and like he got diagnosed within like almost 2 months, he was gone. And that was so eye opening to me. It was like, holy shit, like we're not invincible.
yeah,
We aren't here for a guaranteed amount of time. Like you get one shot at this. Like it's like I forget who the rapper was, but it's like life isn't a Nintendo game. Like, you get one shot at this, like you don't get another life. Like you,
shit, who was it? That wasn't Mac Miller, was it? No.
God, I don't know.
I am listening to a lot of Mac Miller, and he's like, in one of his songs, he's like, "You better live it up because this is the only life you get." And I think he died at like somebody
Yeah.
will know better than me, like 23 or whatever. And it's like, I know consciously listening to him, I'm never gonna hear another new song from him. Once I listen to everything he's put out, that's it. And
Yeah.
it's
Oh, Eminem, Sean said.
Eminem said you got one shot, you got one opportunity, in like the Lose Yourself
Can't
song.
remember. Yeah, somebody said life isn't a Nintendo game or something like that. But
Or maybe
like,
maybe it was
why
a
would you?
yeah,
Like, why would you spend this one life? You get one being unhappy, and you don't even really know. Like, we all assume we're gonna live to 80, but we
yeah.
don't know. So, like, why would you spend that? being unhappy, being with someone who doesn't value you, doesn't respect you, like, don't waste your life away. You get one shot, so you got to make the most of it.
You don't get another chance. Life is no Nintendo game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there we go.
Um I had a thought and I lost the thought. Um
We were talking about you get one shot, so why waste it being with the wrong person, being unhappy?
yeah.
Hopefully that
It'll
brings it back.
it'll it'll come to me eventually. Losing my dad was another really good reminder of that.
Yeah.
To value what's here and to let the little shit go because like the little things that bother you, like when you're in traffic or I don't know. Well, oh yeah, so I went to the beach the other day and like we stopped to get water and it was like a $6 bottle of water. I was like, that's ridiculous. But like when I was younger, that would have bothered me all day. And now I'm like, whatever. And we lost our parking tickets. We had to get another parking ticket. And again, like that would have bothered like that. But now I'm just like, it's kind of funny. Like, I gotta go buy another. But like, I know these are really small things, but like even bigger things, like you
Mhm.
just got to try and roll with it and go with the flow. Maybe realize my fender bender the other day. I had too much on my plate. I wasn't texting. I looked to the left and was rolling at like 2 miles an hour. I rolled into another car. I don't know, guys. But you know what? It reminded me to pay attention. And the next day, somebody at 50 miles an hour swerved into another lane. And so that car swerved into my lane and almost hit me. But I was paying attention. And like, I don't know. I was tired. It was post workout. Like the previous day, I'd not been in that fender bender. I might have just let that dude sideswipe me out of into nowhere, into a telephone pole. So,
Yeah.
um, I do want to get into this. I want your personal take.
Yeah.
Outside of so an abusive relationship, if you leave it, it's probably good to leave that in entirety. Um, I feel like typically people aren't gonna change. Maybe they would. I mean, if I got a text message from that person saying that they had been through whatever and they had changed and they wanted to just like catch up, I don't know. I might entertain it. I do feel like for me, once I love somebody, it's like they got a spot. That's never going away. I can't unlove somebody. I can distance myself. I can remove them from my life if need be, but I still love them. Even outside of romance. I got a guy that really upset me the way he left me from my life, but like I think that's why it hurts me. Is 'cause I still love him. Um, but can you be friends with somebody after a breakup? Like Brooke, can you or have you ever been friends with somebody that you previously dated?
Yeah, I think it depends on the situation, right? Like, I think if you're like you said, if it's an abusive relationship and you're, in danger, or you feel like this person is going to continue to manipulate you and play games and bring any sort of negativity to your life, no, it's not worth it. I think it's important that both people feel like they can be friends. Like I did
Yeah.
date a guy who really broke my heart because I really did like him. It was like just a very quick, like we only dated like maybe like 2 months or so, but he like texted me to break up with me and it just totally destroyed me and it was so heartbreaking. Yes, it was, and I was at a Lady Gaga concert with my mom and oh my gosh, it was terrible. Like he absolutely broke my heart, but in hindsight, like we said, I'm like, this was such a blessing because really we didn't have that much in common. And I feel like, even though I really liked him, it wasn't really the best fit for me. And, I felt like even though my heart was broken, that I could be friends because I didn't see him in the same way that I saw him when we started dating. And so, yeah, I mean, he was really funny. So, like, I enjoyed talking to him and he was a good person. It wasn't like he was a bad person. Like, he didn't cheat on me or anything. He just, didn't feel like I was the right one for him. Could he have done it in a better way? Yes, he could have, but um I was like, "You know what? I feel like we could be friends. Like I would like to be able to catch up with you sometimes and like, make sure that you're okay, like see how you're doing in life." He had a kid and he had a really sweet kid and I liked the kid. So I'm like, "Yeah, like we could catch up sometime and like, make sure we're cool." Would I hang out with him? Probably not. But I do feel like you can end a relationship on good terms as long as both parties are like equally over the relationship. If somebody's still got their heart in it a little bit, you can't be
Yeah.
friends, you know?
Yeah. That's a good point. Because I was only thinking about it from my perspective. Yeah, they have to be on that same page where they're okay just being friends. I think a good like measuring tool, if you can be honest with yourself, if it's your ex and you found out they started dating someone else, does that make you feel happy or does that make you feel something else? If it's anything
Mhm.
else other than happy, if it's jealous, sad, upset, whatever, then you're probably not at a spot where you could be friends. I'll put this out there. For me, going forward, I'm not looking for a partner, like a romantic partner that I could be best friends with. I'm looking for like a best friend that I could be a romantic partner with, if that makes sense. Like the one comes before the other. Now, obviously, there's always going to be some gray area there once you sleep with somebody or something like that. It's kind of hard to undo that. But I will say this, like, I'll just put it out there. I've put it out there before. I broke up with Elisha and I still love her. She's still an awesome person. She just wasn't the right fit for me. That doesn't mean she's a bad person. Doesn't mean she did anything to hurt me. Doesn't mean that I wish anything less from her. And it doesn't mean I want to cut her out of my life. I mean, I've still left a lot of stuff up on Instagram because I'm like, in the past, it would have been take 5 hours, scourge my phone, delete every photo, delete the conversations, go through Instagram, go through Facebook, go through TikTok, delete, 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 delete. And now I'm like, you know what? That was a spot in my life, and it's still a spot in my heart. And I wish her the best, and I hope we can remain friends. And I hope we're both on the same page. I hope nobody wants more than that. If I found out tomorrow she's dating another guy, I would be like over the moon happy for her as long as that was a good, healthy relationship. And
Yeah.
I'm to the point now where I'm very upfront. When I met the person I'm dating now, I said, "Hey, I still talk to like I talk to Brooke every day, so like you got to be okay with me talking to other women. I'm at the gym with half naked women. My clients send me half naked photos to do their check-ins. Like I'm around. I get up half naked on stage. I hope all this is okay. And I will be talking to my ex. I will. Potentially multiple ones of them. I mean, I'm still friends with my ex from 16 years old. She's out in Seattle and just had a kid. Like, it's cool that we can still keep up. Like, our moms still sometimes get lunch. Like, that's cool. Um, but I told her, like, and the same goes for you. If we break up for any reason, I already love who you are. I love your soul. I love your energy. I love what you put out into the world. You're a good person. I don't see a need to remove that. If you need to remove me from your life, I understand. That's okay. I won't hate you for it. I'll actually love you that you're taking care of yourself if that's what's truly best for you. But whether or not we stay together, I hope that we could be friends for the rest of whatever time we have left here. And I'm actually because I know this is going to be a delayed podcast. I can put this out there in case she hears it. It'll happen after the fact. I'm not going to write her a love letter today because I feel like after you break up with somebody, if that happened, if we break up, you kind of take love letters and you throw them away or whatever. I'm gonna write a letter just being a reflection of what I see from her, of all the good qualities she has, of what she's doing for the world, so that this letter is applicable regardless of if we're each other's partners or not. And I like that. And I told her too, like, just communicate with me. If you tell me, if you call me, if she called me right now and said she's leaving me for another guy that's a better fit, yeah, I'm gonna have like a 2 second like pity party, like, damn, but I'm gonna be, let's fucking go. That's where you need to be. You need to be with the best person that's the best for you. Because if you're not the best person for me. And that's how I'm trying to operate going forward. I know it's a little bit against the grain. I know some people, I know younger me would be like, why is she still talking to her ex? Does she still want something? Is she gonna cheat on? Like I would have all these limiting beliefs about myself and about the relationship that I don't anymore. So yeah, I intend, not even can I intend to be friends with my exes going forward. Um
I think
I
it's
mean,
possible. You know, it's all context. I will say for me, like, I have hardly any exes that I would care to desire even a friendship with. It just happened I had one, which is kind of the only example I could give. But yeah, I feel like for sure, if you have somebody in your life and you guys just grow apart, which is like kind of what I feel like happened with you and Alicia, and like you guys just weren't a good fit, but like you both were really good people and you both brought a lot to each other's lives. I mean, why should you have to cut off that person completely? Like, you know, you should be able to just be like, "Hey, Merry Christmas," or like, you know, whatever. Like, or
yeah,
just, you know, like you see she. got some awesome promotion or something, like you should be able to text her congrats. Like you still care about that person, you just don't want to spend your life to that person, and it doesn't mean that you don't care about the girl that you're with now,
Yeah.
so I definitely feel like with the right situation in person, it's possible, and I don't see anything wrong with it.
And so that's kind of my standards going forward too. If like, oh, if I'm with you because the sex is great, or if I'm with you because we're both vegan, but like that's it, we're not friends, we're not like Alicia was my best friend for over a year. Like it was hard to walk away from that because I knew I was gonna have to leave that. And obviously our relationship will be different going forward. But if I still she loves sharks. So if I see a Jaws meme on Instagram, I'm forwarding that shit to her until she tells me to stop, that it's bothering her. Like that's I mean, I even got this tattoo because she played that silly game where you like do the okay sign. I have a
Yeah.
little vegan tattoo there. So like it wasn't like for her, but like that's what that game makes me think of. And I had nowhere else that I wanted to let somebody experiment a tattoo on me. So I did it that way. Like, I don't know, people I could delete all the photos. I could block your number. I can't remove the experiences you gave me. It's still in my life. So whether or not it's public or private, it's still there. I could throw away. I threw away everything from my other two previous relationships. Everything. I kept the spoon actually because I liked the spoon, and then I left it in an Airbnb. So now I don't even have the spoon. I got nothing, but it's all up here. Just because it's deleted doesn't mean I can delete it from my brain. And so that's why I'm going forward. It's like I'm not gonna do anything that's like trying to upset my current partner, but also I'm not gonna try and delete my past because it's there. It's for me at least. Um, I have one more show note that I think is funny.
Let's do it.
Um, I put the curse of John. Poor Alicia. Um, I've now been in. Wait, hold on. One, two, three, four, five. I've been in 6 relationships that have lasted longer than a year, but not hit 2 years. So I call it the
Hmm.
curse. Call it the curse. I've been with 6 different people, never cheated for over a year, but under 2. Um,
Hmm.
I don't know if I changed. Maybe I've changed a lot. Maybe they changed a lot. Maybe some of them I shouldn't have been in. But so I did joke with Alicia on our 1 year anniversary. I was like, "Ha, we're gonna find out if you break the curse or not." And then like I didn't plan on breaking up with her at that time, but like then things happened. So yeah, I have a curse. We'll see if anybody ever breaks the curse.
Well, they say the first year is like your honeymoon phase.
Yeah.
So I do feel like and like if you a lot of people also say like you have to go through something hard with the person to really get an idea of who they are, like whether it's like a financial struggle or like they have a death in the family or I don't know, some sort of like life altering situation to really get an idea of who they are, how they handle conflict, like how they persevere, does it align with you. And I feel like it's hard to go through a year of life or more without having some sort of significant event. Not
Yeah.
that that happened, but I do feel like there are a lot of things at play there, where people start getting comfortable after a year, and you can really get an idea of like, all right, is this gonna work for me? Maybe not, you know?
Yeah. I did have one last analogy, and then I'm gonna shut up. I feel like dating is a lot like buying a house. If you haven't, lived in a few different houses, how do you know everything that you're looking for and how do you know everything you're not looking for? To the people that, somehow got married at like 16 or 18 in high school and like they're great, good for you, but that's unlikely as hell.
Yeah.
I didn't realize I don't want to live in a house with stairs until I did it. When I realized after leg day, it's midnight, I'm tired, I still got to walk upstairs to go to sleep. Fuck that. I will not live on the second floor. I will not have stairs in my house. I refuse. I refuse. It will never happen again. And so I refuse to get abused again. I refuse. Do it once. Good. That's all you're getting. One strike and you're out. We're remaking the rules to this ball game. It's not 99 strikes and I'll think about it. So
That's
yeah.
such a good point too, because I feel like people try to force a relationship to work because they feel like you're supposed to find your match and like spend the rest of your life with them. And people like I don't know, people are crazy sometimes. Like they think just because they're in their 30s, like they should be settled down with kids. Like No, like we're always changing and evolving into different people. It's like you said, it's highly unlikely that you're going to meet somebody at 20 or in high school and then spend your whole life with that person. Like I really hope you guys can grow together. But yeah, it's like you need to like date people and live with people and just go through life with people to get an idea of what you like and what you don't like. And like it's okay, you don't have to hold on to a relationship if it's not really working out. Don't settle, you know? Like there's so many people out here, like you'll find someone else or you'll be single and you'll find yourself and life may be better. I mean, who knows? But like yeah, don't settle for like a crappy relationship and try to hold on to it, force it, make it work. Like figure out what you don't like and move on.
I remembered what I was going to say.
Okay, here we go.
Sorry. I agree with everything you just said. You do not settle. Do not settle. And also, like, don't get caught up on the other side. Don't think you found a unicorn. I remember stating when I was dating Laura, the worst thing that could have ever happened to me was for something to happen where she died and like she was no longer in my life. I was scared of that. I was scared of that more than anything else. Like that was my biggest fear. My biggest fear was that something would happen to her and then I would be left alone. Hey, guess what happened? Well, she didn't die, thank God. But I was left alone. And that taught me a big lesson. Like, you can't put everything on one other person. It's not fair for them or for you. So you might have found your person for now, for today. Enjoy it. And even if they've been with you for 20 years, like even my parents, they were together 30 years and my dad had cancer and passed in like a month. Like, you never know. So enjoy that gift for as long as it's a gift. And if the gift starts abusing you, get the fuck out. That's all I got to say on this. We probably could do a part 2 later on because we're at
Gosh,
like
yeah.
2 hours and I feel like we've just scratched the surface. But yeah, dude, I'm glad you got out of yours. I'm glad I got out of
Yeah.
mine. We wouldn't
Yeah,
have met each
same.
other and we wouldn't be here doing this Vegans Who Live podcast. Like,
Right.
I'm so
It's
glad.
best thing, best breakup ever, you know?
Yeah.
Best thing ever. Like seriously, that is like one of the things that I'm most proud of. It's like you said, it's one of the hardest things to leave, but I did it and I mean, it's the best thing that you can do for sure. Relationships are hard, but they shouldn't drain the life out of you, you know? Like it's going to
Yeah.
always be hard to have a relationship. Like, you're going to have hard times, but it's like you said, like the majority of it should be good. It should be fun, it should be supportive. Like otherwise, there's no reason to be in a relationship. Just be single.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes you got to learn the hard way. So if you're
Yep.
learning the hard way, do what you got to do. My DMs are open, man. If you're going through something, I say man, but I mean man or woman. If you're going through something, I'm here to talk. I made so many friends going through that. Actually, you know, I became a lot closer with Brent throughout my breakup. I mean, yeah. So like, anyways, we're here for you. I'm here for you. I don't want to speak for Brooke. Get like 5 million
Oh yeah,
DMs.
no, honestly, like that's something this is something I'm so passionate about. I'm so glad we had a podcast about this today. I would love to at some point be able to figure out a way that I could help women in these situations. I don't know, but yeah, my DMs are open as well. I've had several women just kind of interpret stuff from my posts during that time and they reached out to me and um they're luckily in really good spots now. So yeah, my DMs are open too. Like this is hard stuff to navigate and sometimes it's hard to not receive judgment from people when you're going through a breakup and you know people think you should just get over it or leaving a situation. Um so yeah, judgment free, reach out. We're here to support you, here to help you. Um yeah.
And before I pull another John, thank you guys for tuning in. This has been a good one. This was heavy. It's probably
Heavy.
our heaviest one yet. But this is us. This is real. I hope this helps somebody on their journey. If you want to help us on ours, share this with somebody that you think would help on their journey. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast wherever you subscribe. Share it, shout us out. If you tag us, we'll reshare it. we're my goal here, yeah, it's a little selfish, it's self-promotion. I want to put it out there, but I want to help people, and I can't help people if it doesn't get out there. So you guys can help us with that. So thank you so much. And I'll let Brooke do the outro since I did the intro. Did I do it? Yeah, I
Yeah,
did
sure.
the
Yeah, well, thanks guys for tuning in. If you want to leave us a message or a question and be featured on the podcast, make sure to go to vegansexplore.com and you can leave us a message there and we will answer your questions. But yeah, thank you guys for your support. We hope you enjoyed the podcast and we will see you next time.
and have the best day ever.